People find Spider-Man really easy to relate to, myself included, and this is because Spider-Man is a kid who's constantly down on his luck, and is constantly facing like some sort of personal problem every other week, whether that be the fact that he's very broke and poor, and is trying to help his, not grandmother, I was about to say grandmother, his aunt, try to pay rent, or the fact that he's having girl problems at school, like, like, we've all been there, I'm pretty sure. Or the fact that people keep on bullying him, or like he has a lot of homework. It's stuff like that. Problems that every man experiences. However, that's not Spider-Man's problems, despite what I said earlier. That's Peter Parker's problems that we can relate to. And believe it or not, it's probably harder to relate to Spider-Man than it is to Peter Parker, because Spider-Man is a guy who goes around basically beating up criminals in the night, swinging on webs, doing like all these kinds of daredevil stunts that could possibly have an average man end up in the hospital. So how can the average man relate to Spider-Man? Because I don't know about you, but I am too afraid to do all the stuff I just mentioned, mostly because, I don't know about you, but I really hate getting hurt, So how can we relate to him? Well, back in the day, in the 40s, I want to say, I forgot when Spider-Man was created, Stan Lee gave Spider-Man a mask, mostly because of two reasons. One, to make him more like a traditional superhero, is because every superhero needs to hide their identity somehow, and that's with the mask. You're probably talking about Superman right now. I'll argue about Superman in the comments, but yeah, he gave him a mask just to make him more of a traditional superhero. And then he also gave a mask so that the reader can easily project themselves into the Spider-Man's mask, they can see themselves behind the mask basically. They'll have an easier time understanding what Spider-Man's going through if they themselves think about, hey, what would I go through? And the easiest way to do that is to project yourself behind the mask. That's how we can relate to both Peter Parker and Spider-Man's problems, together. Now, you're probably wondering right now, why the frick is he talking about Spider-Man in a Batman video? And that's because I want to draw attention to that projecting idea. You see, I love the Batman so much and its beginning as a whole, and I think that projecting idea really blends into why I, and probably some of you out there why we love the intro so much. So I'm going to describe it to you and then give out my point. In the beginning of the Batman is narrating about how he can't be everywhere at once in one night, but the criminals don't know that, which makes them afraid of me because I could be there alongside them or something like that. I don't know about you guys, but I only watch movies in a movie theater once because, I'm not, my parents aren't that rich. Never mind. But yeah, basically, he says something along the lines that the criminals are afraid of him because they don't know where he is, and that alone, sure, it could get the point across, but it's literally telling us what we need to know instead of showing us. And for those of you non-writers out there, that is a very big writing sin because the rule is always show, don't tell. However, in the actual movie, it does show us how the criminals are afraid, and the way Matt Reeves does it, the way he shows us this, is amazing. Basically, it shows us a montage of people committing crimes, different crimes. Some are robbing banks, I think. Some are robbing banks and so they're all doing different things. There's a gang on a train about to go beat up some dude, and then it shows but the person I want to draw attention to is of course the robber. And basically there's this guy who's in some sort of mask. It's later revealed to be a drug mask. At least I think it's a drug mask. I really need to watch that movie again when it comes out. But yeah, he's wearing a drug mask basically, and it's a mask that conceals his face, and he goes up to the store and robs a man, of all the money that he has in his cash register, and basically cuts to, all the other crimes. But when it comes back to him, he's running throughout the street, and, he's getting away, and basically, he looks up, and he sees the bat signal, and I'm pretty sure that's when Batman says, "It's not a signal, it's a warning." And basically, he goes from looking at the bat signal, all the way to the alleyway where he's going to with the shadow, and basically we don't know if Batman's there or not, and neither does he. Now, of course, we have no reason to relate to this man and what he's feeling right now because we've never, I don't know about you guys, I hope you guys haven't done this, but I personally have never committed any crimes. I've never robbed a convenience store, so I wouldn't know what it's like to be running away from a crime I committed and from the good guys, but I don't know about you, but I was able to feel that fear that robber was feeling in that moment, that that fear, that dread that the Batman could be in those shadows for all we know. And I'm pretty sure you guys felt it too. And you guys are probably wondering why. Why are we feeling this way? Why are we just feeling so scared right now when we now for this dude when we should realistically have no empathy towards him? And that's because he's wearing a mask. And like I said earlier, the fact that he's wearing a mask makes it easier for us to project ourselves into his position, because basically we don't know what he's feeling. We can't see his face. Okay, he could be smiling. He could be like smiling at the shadows right now, thinking to himself, "Oh man, the Batman's here. I can't wait to get his autograph." Or he could be going the most realistic approach. He could be saying, "Oh man, Batman's here. Is he going to break my leg? Is he going to hurt me? Oh my gosh, I better run away." And like the fact that we can't see his face leaves room for us to think in his position, to wonder, what is he thinking right now? What's going through his mind? And that is amazing. And I love that Matt Reeves was able to do that. That's because like it was able to show us what it feels, because I don't know about you, but in every single piece of Batman media, they always say, all the criminals and gangsters and all that Batman fights always seems to say, "Oh man, I'm so scared of the Batman right now. Oh man, I'm scared. I'm really scared of the Batman. You have no idea how scared I am of the Batman. I'm very scared." And I don't know about you, but I've always felt like I never felt anything actually whenever they said I'm scared of the Batman. I always just, I was like, "Oh man, Batman must be really scary then. If that's what makes them scared. If they're enough to just say it repeatedly that they're scared." The closest I've ever gotten, like before watching this movie, to like feeling that type of fear was when Batman was in Batman Arkham Origins. Like we all know, for those of you guys who played the game, you guys all know what I'm talking about. Where he's basically saying like, "Alfred, I'm the hope out there. I'm the reason why the mugger who's walking down the street thinks twice before mugging someone. I'm the reason why they sent 8 assassins after me. You know what? You know what the reason is for them to, you know why the criminals breathe easier whenever they look up and see that, hey, dawn is breaking out? It's because they're afraid, Alfred. I am that fear, Alfred." And that, while I didn't feel that fear, I was able to understand it, like get a better understanding of it, But the Batman, it did an amazing job at it, and that's why I love this movie. Like, sure, the intro does many other things, but I watched two video essays on it, and as you know, I don't like to tread ground, but I didn't hear them talk about this point, so I just wanted to get that out there. That while there are other great things about this movie, and about like how it portrays Batman, I'm pretty sure they've all been said, or all going to be said, so I just wanted to get this quick thought out there. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for listening to me ramble. Fun fact before I tell you to do stuff with my channel. Fun fact: half of this was about improvised. The other half was like a script, But I wanted to sound more natural. Anyway, with all that out of the way, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to